Welcome everyone, it's Shari Carroll for SimonsSaysStamp.com, and I have a Funny Friday card using some art impression aardvarks, and I've added a hidden zinger. The stamp set is adorable. It has 3 of these amazing aardvarks and they're all in different positions. I'll be using the standing one that has his arms up. There's also a balloon on this other one, and I'll be using the cake as well. I'll be stamping onto some Canson watercolor cardstock, and I've cut one of the pieces for the aardvark with the large tag from Simon Says Stamp, and then the cake is also on a scrap piece of watercolor paper. To ink these up, I'm using Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink, and I'm using my Misty to get a really good impression. I am going to create a mask at the aardvark's hand so that it can hold the balloon, so I've used a piece of Post-it note paper and I've inked up the hand again on my original image, and I'll press down right in that area. Once I have that stamped, I can peel this away and cut it out with my scissors to create my mask. When I'm done cutting that, I can place it right back down onto the image, and now I have the rest of the aardvark covered up. I've lined up the image that has the balloon on it, and I'm inking up just that portion. Once I have that inked, I can press it right onto the tag and then peel away the Post-it paper, and I have my complete image where the aardvark is holding the balloon. To color these, I'm using my Mission watercolors, and I've mixed up a couple browns. I have a real nice chestnut brown and then almost a rusty brown. And I'm just doing a light wash in the areas where I want the chestnut brown first. Then I can move on to the other area. I like to separate out my watercolor areas so they don't bleed in together. So once that's a little bit dry, I'll move on to my other colors, and then I can start adding details with a smaller brush and get some darker colors. I like to use watercolors because I can add more intense color as I go, and also it's pretty quick, and I'm better at painting than I am with my markers. So I'll continue painting this and adding a little bit darker areas so I get some definition between the arms and the body. With all the neutral colors of the aardvark, I'm adding a splash of turquoise for the balloon and also the cake top. Once I have my pieces painted, I'm adding a little bit of a shadow using a nice wash of a brownish gray, and I'll add it also to the ants carrying the cake. I'll be trimming down the cake with a rounded rectangle die, and I'm going to tape this in place and run it through my die cut machine. I'm going to create a square out of this, so I'll place the die on the other end with the rounded corners, tape that in place, and run it through my die cut machine again. I'm mounting all my pieces onto a Simon Says Stamp top folding card, and I've inked up the round and round background with fossil ink. It's a really nice pale brownish gray, and I'm just placing my card right on top of the stamp, and I'll rub the back with my fingers to get the impression onto the card. Once I have that all pressed down, I'll turn this over, and now I have a nice faint background. I've also stamped a greeting just to the bottom portion of the front of the card, and I will mount the tag just above the greeting with the cake overlapping on top. Now to make this really fun, this is where I'm going to put in a hidden zinger. So I have my cake and I figured out a piece of paper that I want to slide in here. And I have created a channel using some foam tape. So I have it just clear enough to where this blue piece of paper will be able to slide back and forth. All I need to do is to take the backing off of that foam tape and mount it to my card. And then I can stamp my zinger onto the blue piece. And this is my funny saying. I have my cake mounted, and I'm going to use my anti-static bag to make sure I get a nice crisp, clean, white embossed image. And I'm using Simon Says Stamp clear ink and stamping right onto that AUDREY blue piece, and using white embossing powder and heat setting that with my heat tool. I've punched a hole into that paper and added a little bit of twine, and now I can slide my zinger in and out of the card. This is a super cute stamp set with the aardvarks or anteaters and all the little ants. There are also images of them carrying a party hat and presents, but I thought it was super fun to add a little zinger that will slide right under that tag. So I hope I've given you some inspiration for Funny Friday using art impression stamps, and as always, thanks so much for watching.